Looks like it already might be game over for Blank. The cliffhanger in this episode was worse than the episode 2 weeks ago because that cliffhanger is terrible. You just have Sora and Shiro freaking, like, getting on the ground crying and wiggling all that, like, you see them all terrified, because we know how they are. They don't like going out in public, and like, oh, humanity's fell, we lost, all that, and you just see them bow, and he's like, I'm sorry, just, oh my god. I love it. I love it. How can No Game, No Life go from a serious moment right before the game is about to begin in this episode? Like, literally, the tone changed right at the end. Okay, so 1 minute we have the game about to start, you see Sora and Shiro going into Tokyo, and all of a sudden, you see them just break down, they're like, oh no, and you just start seeing them shiver and all that. Oh my god, I can never get enough of those face expressions that Shiro and Sora show when they get into a situation they don't like. One thing is that we need to wonder now, is this Tokyo that currently Sora and Shiro are in, is that really the real world? Is that Japan? Is that Tokyo? Or is this just a virtual reality space? That's what we got to question right here, right now. Is this just a game? Or is this really going to be taking place in the real world? So we'll have to see next episode. Most likely, this is going to be major character development for Sora and Shiro. The reason why, as we've seen their characters, they've always been alone and they always stayed inside their house by themselves. And they pretty much were just living together. Well, with this episode, it shows that they're going to have something figured out to overcome this fear to be able to play this game, because it's definitely going to be taking place in this world, and so if they're going to be sitting there scared the entire time, they're definitely going to lose. It'd be kind of fucked up if humanity actually did lost this entire game. I mean, think about that. Think about if No Game, No Life was to end right there where humanity lost a race piece. Speaking of race piece, I want to bring this up. So with this episode, we find out what the Eastern Federation is actually betting in this episode. We find out they're not betting their race piece, they're betting a part of their entire country. So right now, it seems like in the stakes, humanity is losing more than the Eastern Federation. But I guess Eastern Federation, they have a lot more they can lose than just a race piece. Humanity's been pretty much backed up against the corner and has to bet the race piece to have anything to bet at all, because they really don't have any country they can really give up. So this is a big step forward. If Sora and Shiro can conquer this and they can win this piece of land, right there, they will have a major, accomplishment, and at the same time, humanity will have one more step forward, be able to conquer other nations. Now, this is the one thing that comes forward with this entire development, with finding out that the Eastern Federation is not betting the race piece. The reason why is because this is going to be only like a 12 or 13 episode series, No Game, No Life. It hasn't been confirmed for a season 2 yet, hasn't been confirmed for a 24 to 25 episode series, so the big question we all have to wonder right now, and I've been saying this for the past 2 episodes now, the big question, can they finish this? I mean, I highly doubt it. I really highly doubt they can finish this entire series in a matter of 2 episodes. I mean, that would be bad. That would be rushed. They would be shooting themselves in the foot, okay, if they were to get all the race pieces or something and finish this series in 2 episodes. So I highly doubt that's going to happen. So from this perspective, it seems by the course of the time to the end of this series of No Game, No Life, we may not have any accomplishment for humanity. I mean, Sora and Shiro might have their first major victory against Eastern Federation, the War Beast, but they won't have a race piece in their possession, and they have 15 other races to attack, so you have to think about this from another perspective. They're not going to be able to finish this season, so it's going to be a cliffhanger that everybody's going to probably be pissed about, because we might not have a season 2 ever, or it'll be a long time until we have a season 2, because I don't know how far the light novels are ahead of where we're currently at in this anime. So right there, that leaves you all wondering and questioning, it leaves me questioning and wondering where this series is going to go from here at this point onward. Now, overall, this episode had a lot of comedy and great fan service. Yes, the fan service scene in this episode was useless. I'm going to admit, all fan service usually is useless, and I'm not a big fan of time being wasted in anime, especially for fan service. But I will give the fan service scene one thing. It made me laugh. It made me laugh, and it was a good comedy scene. Good comedy scene. It had no point in progression in that scene. The only point that scene served was just showing the personalities of Kurami and Fi. That's all that scene really tried to show. It's showing that Fi is a likable character, and she's like a mother figure to Kurami. And speaking of that, we find out that Fi and Kurami are really similar to Blank. In this episode, they have a similar past. I mean, as we know, Shiro and Sora, they rely on each other, and they're pretty much one person. They're Blank, and they only care about each other. In this episode, we find out Kurami and Fi are kind of similar to that, and Fee doesn't care about her own country. She would let her country burn to the ground as long as if Kurami is happy. That's pretty much what you can get from this episode. But still, we find out Fee has a very sadistic side to her, especially with how she was willing to kill off her own country. But at the same time, we find out that she forced Jibril to lick her feet. And sucks they have to add fucking censors. Come on, who else wanted to see that fucking shit? That'd have been hilarious. It would have. Jibril, the freaking death machine from above, licking a fucking elf's foot. Just... Oh my god, this is freaking great. Okay, so they censored it, and I don't think the scene would have been probably as funny if they didn't censor it, honestly. It was funny because it was censored the way they did it. It was just great, and then right after that scene, you have Jibril say, I feel so disgusted, but for some reason, I'm so happy and excited because my master ordered me to do it. I'm like, Jibril's confirmed M! Jibril's confirmed M! That's exactly what I said as soon as she said that. So, we had some good comedy, we had some great progression at the same time, and the game started taking off right at the end of this episode, and we get a lot of character development with each individual character. So, I feel like a lot of the stuff in this episode was enjoyable, and there's not really much I can really complain about. The only thing, like I said, I can complain about is the fan service. But No Game No Life has had its fan service a lot of times in the majority of every single episode, and so I really can't down it for that quality. Yeah, because, I mean, No Game No Life kind of thrives off that to have some form of character development. At the same time, oh yes, I need to bring up a couple other things. There was a lot of references in this episode to other anime. For that one thing where Jibril's found guilty. I don't know what anime that's from. I really don't. I know that was a reference to something. The face that Sora makes, when he's like, Jibril's guilty. And it's just like, what the fuck? It just, the face he made was hilarious. It was really funny. And just, right now, I love all these characters. I love this anime. I love the animation style. And I love the freaking music. And, oh yeah, I got something else I need to talk about. Actually, the entire fact we find about Izuna, the fox lolly, I'm mistaken her for a Neko lolly. I'm sorry about that, everybody. But the fox lolly that we see in this episode, she's being forced to play this game, and she's not having fun. And Sora asked her a question was, when was the last time you had fun playing a game? And right there, that just shows you what the different standpoints from these two different fighters are. For instance, you have Izuna that pretty much has no enjoyment of fighting this other country, humanity, because she's not going to have fun playing this game. She has to win this. But at the same token, you have Sora and Shiro that's really going to enjoy this game. They're going to have fun, even though they know they're betting their entire race up to slaughter if they lose. And so right now, it just goes to show you at the same time, I guess, you can see Sora and Shiro as crazy psychopaths, but at the same time, they're at the very least taking a game as fun, and they're having fun with it. But on the other team, the War Beast, they're pretty much more serious, and they don't care, and I feel like this is probably going to be the downfall of the War Beast, and why Sora and Shiro are going to win, because we're going to have the Fox Lolly want to have fun, and then it'll in turn make Sora and Shiro win over her. So I see that entire event's coming to play. Now, the music at the end, I love the music. It always suits, especially with the way they do it. And my god, I hate that fucking cliffhanger. Oh, I expressed that enough, but that cliffhanger. Why does every fucking week have to be like this on any good anime I watch? So everybody, this is going to be the end of my anime review of No Game No Life this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. I know I did. Tell me your thoughts about this episode, everybody. What was your favorite moments, and what do you feel about that fan service? What do you feel about that ending, and what do you feel about this cliffhanger? Everybody, I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.